Open Eye Hun. Hello, lovely one. There would be 3 questions today. 1. I cannot give an abstract title to the first one. Liberated speakers often say the same and unbelievable things like, there is God, there is no free will, world goes on in its own, no effort needed by the humans. You will always get the right impulse to do what you have to do. Okay, so all liberated speakers say this, or this is something that you think you've heard. That I heard these from you, I could say these things as well. Of course I will not, because I do not know these things like the truth. I just heard about these things from you, but seemingly you know these things like reality, like simple everyday experience. Actually, my experience is absolute not knowing. And then thoughts come about, and this is a way that speakers speak, including me, because you assume the opposite. So when I say there is no free will, it's not that that's my truth or my reality. My reality is innocence, is life happening, and then the character jumps in and responds. But I say there is no free will because of the comparison to there is free will. So most people walk around this planet believing that there is free will, but the reality is there isn't free will. There is free will and there isn't free will. They both cancel out each other. There is and there isn't. It's not that either are true. There appears to be free will, but it's not a truth, it's not a reality. So therefore the speaker says there is no free will. But I often say this as well. So actually, I often say all of this, that none of it's true. My reality isn't these words. If it was, it would be an intellectual understanding of non-duality. My reality is innocence, is not knowing. And then out of that, normally I say the opposite to what somebody is saying to me. Not always. But what is different in you? What makes you to be able to experience those things? Is it the effect of your liberation? Or were you experiencing these things before and without your liberation as well? How does it work in practice? If you would not be liberated, can you not talk about these things? Why are those things just tales to me? And why are those things reality to you? They're just tales to me as well. The true reality is mystery, is this innocence right here. Christian religion, this is about life and death. Christian religion talks about a single life and then heaven or hell forever. It implies a soul. Buddhists talk about multiple lives, karma, and we have to involve some kind of soul. Materialists talk about a single life consciousness created by the body and no soul involved. Non-dualists and mystics are talking about life and death too, but I'm confused about what they say. I understand you well, and you think that consciousness is not generated by the body. Bodies are just mechanisms used by the one consciousness. There is no soul. There is nothing to be reborn. If a body, someone dies, that thing is dead. And rest in peace forever, and will never... Actually, I don't say that. Nothing ever dies. It's always a change of energy. I believe in rebirth, not reincarnation. One way, it's almost the materialist option, just with the additional common global about consciousness. No, because you didn't ask me about rebirth and reincarnation. Did I understand you well? Will my death totally erase me? The things who I was in this body? Will my death be total relief from the things I see now? Do I not have to come here again, live a singular life? These questions only come from the belief in the personality and the belief that who you are is the personality. When it's really seen that who you are is the looker and not the personality, you are the experiencer of life, not the experience, then these questions won't apply. The third question. Okay, not much longer. We are listening to speakers who state exactly that nobody knows why liberation happens. Me, myself, I'm not even sure that liberation would be a thing for me. I'm just curious. And I want to know the answer for my questions like this and previous ones. But apart from everything, do we listen to you just to make better or singular life? Listen to make your life better. You don't listen to me to get enlightened. Nobody does. You listen always to get more pleasure. So you believe that listening to me will give you more pleasure. You listen to me to get more pleasure. Everything you do is about getting pleasure for yourself. Even the act of helping someone is about getting pleasure for yourself. Everything is about receiving pleasure and trying to move away from pain. And that never ends. This body, my mechanism, is still in that movement. It moves towards that which is pleasurable and away from that which is painful. But this subject's amazing because it's like the silent killer. It kills you by surprise. Like it deconstructs you without you noticing. So you think that you're doing the deconstruction, or you think that you're listening to this for yourself, and you think you know what the waking up process is, but really you've got no idea. You're only interested in having pleasure. So every story you tell yourself, every reason you tell yourself that you're into non-duality isn't true. The reason that you're into non-duality is because there's something in you that believes will lead you to a better life or will give you more pleasure. Or, and this might oscillate between the two, you're using it to give yourself more pain because you're more identified with the pain. And therefore the story or the nihilism or something validates that story, and so you kind of get pleasure by giving yourself pain because it validates your story about yourself. But whatever it is, you're doing it for that reason. You are not listening to non-duality to enlighten yourself or waken up. Nobody is. You can't. Who would want this? Nobody would ever want this. This has to you, give you something. And while speaking about this, what happens though is that you that believes it exists begins to deconstruct and break away. So everything you believed in begins to get broken and is seen to not be true. Until you're left with nothing. And then the human carries on as normal. It does its shopping. It argues about who's done the washing up or hasn't done the washing up. It gets annoyed at picking up the poo or not having the poo bags or hitting the head on the toilet thing, the toilet paper holder. It's so funny. And we have so many. When I first got into enlightenment, one of the first books I read was by a Buddhist teacher, and that they were talking about a lot of siddhis, I think it's called, of special experiences. And I remember one was that she could go back in time. She could slow time down, that it went backwards, and she would go and listen to sermons of the Buddha. So she'd go and listen to talks, sermons, or whatever it was from the Buddha. And I think secretly I was totally in love with the Buddha, and I wanted to be able to go back in time so I could have a love affair with the Buddha. So I like, this is one of the first books. I must have been into Buddhism or something, or the idea of Buddha, this perfect man that was all giving, and so I wanted to have this siddhi to go back and meet the Buddha. And she had she could go through walls, she could hear conversations, and I was like, woohoo, this is for me. This is what I want. And I remember in this Buddhist group, everyone was going around talking about why they were into Buddhism, and most people were like, they just want a bit more peace in their life. They want to get on with their husband or wife better. They want to do better at their job. They want to have more time. And it came to me and I was like, enlightenment. I want enlightenment. And I remember when I said it, everyone laughed. And I remember being really outraged. Why are they laughing? That's what this is all about. But, yeah. And it was all because I just wanted to sleep with the Buddha. And then by side effect, I ended up becoming the Buddha. I realised the Buddha was inside of me and I could just sleep with myself. Well, that works well. I'm only being a wally. To those that live in America, I'm being sarcastic. Don't take what I say seriously. I know that Americans have problems with sarcasm. They don't really understand it. Oh, this is a nice message from Akiko. I apologise, guys. I'm what society would call as somebody that's dyslexic, which is a really beautiful thing. It's not a negative thing, but my reading is appalling. The other day I couldn't tell the difference between the word pear and Paris, and I'd put on some advertisement, Lisa will be doing talks, or I will be doing talks in pear or pears. I couldn't see it. And somebody said, you've spelt it Paris wrong. I was looking at the words. I couldn't tell the difference. Very cute. Concerning this issue, look for TRE, trauma release exercise, which uses this natural shaking mechanism. One can learn certain easy exercise to activate it. I've been doing it since about 1 year on a daily basis, and it's done good for me. So that's TRE. Very nice. Akiko. But just remember that these things, doing these sorts of things aren't about becoming enlightened. These are about becoming a balanced human being, which I recommend for everyone. We're living in a society of very cuckoo human beings. So, and in becoming more balanced, then there can be a hearing of non-duality. But do not use non-duality to heal yourself. You'll become even more cuckoo. Use non-duality to hear that you aren't that person, but don't expect it to heal your traumas, to heal your relationship issues, to go to your partner and when you're having an argument about washing up and say, yeah, but there is nobody, so therefore I'm not going to do it. That's not, that's not non-duality. That's just being human and trying to get out of doing the washing up